I think I am trying to like play up for the crowd, which I can't do. It's the element of like, if you're on stage and you're speaking to a group, you're going to speak differently than you would just speak to your partner in your living room. That energy is different. If you know that there are eyes on you, you are just a little bit more amped. You're a little more animated. You're focused on aesthetics, both of the trade and am I on camera view and how's my lighting and like stupid stuff that like doesn't really matter in real life. I would never consider my office lighting when I'm just trading by myself, right? As long as I can see and it's not bothering my eyes, like I'm good to go. So it's just changing my whole world.
Hey, welcome back. Here at the Market Mamas podcast, I cover a wide range of topics from the intricacies of day trading to mindset mastery and psychological growth, with the goal of the conversations being next level growth for all of us. My name is Becky, and I'm a US-based futures day trader from the Pacific Northwest. My trading experience includes trading stocks, options, crypto, and futures, with both trading a personal account as well as with prop funding companies. Over time, I found that I most enjoy the fast-paced world of intraday futures trading, so that is my primary day trading focus now. Thank you for joining me on the Market Mamas podcast today.
Hey guys, Becky from Market Mamas. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, I have been a futures day trader for about 5 years now, 5 years this spring, and it was an interesting evolution. I knew nothing. I had to figure out all the things, starting from what a candlestick was. And I did start finding profitability about 2.5 years ago. Now I've been making some money the last few years, and that's been amazing. But I don't know everyone's experience, but I think it's more common than not to start making some money, start making some payouts, start getting some actual real money in your bank account where you can do things for your family. But it's not linear. It's not like a straight up, like you finally you've arrived and the money just flows. No, instead, it's more like, you start finding new levels and new devils. You start running into roadblocks that inhibit you and alter the way that you're experiencing trading, that change the way you're approaching all of it. And it changes the game a little bit, and it changes what you're doing, how you want to operate, what you want to do to navigate the next phase. And so it's been very interesting. It's been eye-opening. I've had to challenge some deep inner parts of myself that I didn't know I needed to, especially with trading. I thought you learn a technical skill, you learn how to get in and get out, and then you just make money. Well, no, I had to do a lot of work psychology-wise to really be able to hold steady through all of the volatility of like the P&L and the big fluctuations, and learning how to accept money from the stock market and trust myself as a trader. And so it's been a very interesting evolution that speaks to the human in me of like how I need to change and grow and adjust everything to be able to hold steady and not like burn out and quit day trading, because there's a lot of stressors. And so being able to keep your patience through that has been huge for my longevity in this game. Down recently, I don't know if everyone knows, but I do some live streaming at BluSky trading company, and they are a futures funding company out there in the scene that has really kind of starting to grow and expand like crazy. They're an excellent option in the funding world, really transparent rules, lots of options, excellent customer service, same day payouts. Like I am telling you, they're amazing, and they're just going to keep getting bigger. So I find myself very lucky to be a part of that team, because it's really great people who just want to talk reality of what trading looks like and how to get better in that world and how to make consistent profits and to be the best futures day traders that we can be. But goodness, taking that role over there has changed my world a little bit. And I thought that it might when I first started kicking around the idea last fall, and it did. And I am now in the phase of this like growing with it, because I'm not really a person who kind of shies away from new levels. And I don't generally let fear kind of hold me back. More so I take it as a challenge, which is probably why I've blown so many accounts, because I'm like, well, I'll try that. So rating that in has been a part of my life as well. But I was very interested, honestly, in the challenge, and I've been growing into it. And so what I do over there is I teach a psychology class every week of random topics about, tilt and managing winners and all kinds of different psychology topics. So there's an hour of psychology over there, but then I also just live stream trading. Well, in that role, it's sort of evolved as the BluSky TV has evolved. And so now every time that I stream, I'm often one who shares her chart. And so then I'm taking executions live. And, I was worried a little bit about how that might affect the way that I'm trading. And I have to say that it has, which I don't want to be admitting, but to whoever is out there, I kind of want to just talk about it with you guys. And please shoot me a DM, send me your tips. I would love to hear from other streamers, traders who also stream, because it has messed with me. Like I want to have full transparency. Market Mamas is mine. Although everyone at BluSky knows this as well, because I know that I'm the one that is the newest to live streaming trading in that team over there. Other traders have been trading longer than me, but then also live streaming longer than me. And so in that role, I'm coming up in front of everyone. So there's like so many things that I'm working through. And what I have found is that when I got my consistent payouts over the last few years, that trading was mine. Like I'm a retail trader. I trade at my home office. Usually my children are otherwise occupied. Like it's just me and my computer and what I have learned. And sometimes I have varying degrees of success, varying degrees of patience, but I have gotten pretty good at locking in. Well, everything shifted when I am trading live or when I want to talk about my P&L or when I want to share it, because trading has been mine for a long time. And then the psychology conversations is something that I blossomed into a couple of years ago with Market Mamas. That feels more comfortable. That's not as new. So when I started trading live, I was noticing, I'm not near as patient and as clean and clear with my setups because I feel like I want to have some activity. Like I already, you guys know about, the nervous system, fight or flight response. You kind of go into that like more aggressive, like on stage mode. There's an adrenaline behind live streaming or putting something out there in the world. And so for me, when I'm trading alone, I'm more patient. I'm more clear on my setups, and I can wait. I can walk away because I'm not on camera. So I can walk away from my office and just be like, this doesn't look good. I want to go accomplish another chore. I'm going to do the dishes or do a little workout, set alerts on my phone, have that patience. And then when I see my best setup, I'll take 1 or 2 shots for the day and then I'll go about my day. Well, this is different. If I have a couple hours where I'm live streaming and I'm on the charts for the markets and I'm in this seat right here, looking at the charts, talking about the trades, talking about every single candle as it closes, talking with another streamer if I'm on there with another guy. And so we're kicking back and forth opportunities and momentum. And is there news coming out and what's going on with the world? And if someone else in the chat is taking this trade and taking that trade and asking about this market. So we're flipping between the different indices. We trade ES, gold, and Q predominantly and in that stream. And so you can see how there's so much more energy, right? And this is why I'm calling all streamers, like, please leave me a comment because help me out, help a girl out. Like this is a new world for me and I am not afraid of it, but I am stumbling a little bit through it. And I don't like to expect something different wouldn't even make sense, right? Because it's just a whole nother world, it changes the dynamic, I would say. There's a little bit more, which is not on their fault or any of the audiences, and no one needs to do anything different but me. But I feel the pressure in that moment to create some action, to be entertaining, to show trades, to show entry and exit criteria, what it looks like to manage a position, to I love when I get my big P&Ls because that's super fun and that's engaging and exciting and we get to cheer. The reality is, though, not every day is going to be clean, clear, beautiful. So I'm going to have multiple setups in a couple hour streaming session. Sometimes the conditions don't favor that opportunity. Sometimes the P&L is, smaller. I was trading 1 or 2 minis before this opportunity came. I sized down, so I'm trading micros. But then trading micros, I'm like, there's not that much leverage. So then I'll find myself more open to taking more trades because I sized down. And so when I take my hits, they are a little bit smaller. And so then I feel like I have more room to like F around and find out and, see what's out there and take more trades because I have a little more liquidity in my drawdown levels. And guys, help me out because it's making me wonder, like in that moment, like I need to be focused on trading the market, but also there's an edge of like almost performance for an audience, which is not really what it is, but it kind of is, you know what I mean? Like you are kind of like showing what it would look like to be a trader. And everyone who comes in that stream is varying degrees of trading skills. I know that there's some younger traders in there, and I know that there's some traders in there that have a lot more experience than me and varying levels of success at that point. And we're all just hanging out and it's really good energy. And I'm so thankful that I found myself in a community that everyone is good traders or has good question and is growing as traders and has a pretty decent read of the market and is supportive. Like everyone wants to see everyone win. And when we get in confluence where everyone is seeing the bear side and we're all taking nice shorts, that's super fun. And so I'm really lucky that I'm going through this with that community. But I do have noticed that I am trading differently when I feel like I am observed. And so it's kind of like a vulnerable position. And I know that it impacts my psychology because I'm living it and I'm feeling it and it's a very real thing. But what is curious is because I'm also like psychology is also my favorite part of my growth as a trader, because when I drill into like figuring out what's going on with my psychology and how I can get better with that, I see real improvement. And so I like to dig into if I'm hitting a roadblock or having some area where I'm not doing as ideally as I would hope to do. I want to dig in and I want to figure out what's the psychology behind it, what's going on. Is it my read of the market or is it the way that I'm approaching my opportunities? And so I have dug in. Like, I'm creating this episode because this last week I did it twice. I was live streaming and I overtraded like a crazy person because like the first trade of both situations, the first trade of that session was a fast, easy, quick win. And in the real world, I would take that fast, easy, quick win. And then I would walk out of my office for a minute. I would get some more coffee. I would do something with the kids. I would digest. I would let, the energy of a nice, quick, easy win settle down. And then I would see what the market did shortly thereafter. Both situations, though, like you're just streaming, like it's a quick, easy win. Now I have 2 more hours still to stream or another hour still to stream. So what's next, And so then I start flipping instruments and looking at other things. And if I got out of a trade, well, that's because I think it might react there. And so at least once I flipped and took the other side, and that was kind of wonky. You guys see what I mean? Like, it was not hard to slip into overtrading. That's the thing, is all of these not as ideal behaviors are really so dang easy. And that has been my experience, that slipping into overtrading is really easy, knowing also that my leverage is smaller. That P&L from that quick and easy win would have been prettier if it was with 2 minis instead of 6 or 8 micros. You know what I'm saying? And so then I'm like, well, I could make more money, and I have a little house money, and the losses aren't that big because I'm not trading full size. I'm not trading huge size either. And so it just puts me in this mode of like, let's see what else happens. But that's not how I want to trade, and that's not what I was doing that got me paid. And so when I think about my trading for the previous few years, right, what got me paid was really dialing in of like, I want to see these couple areas. What happens there? What would give me an A+ setups is if this area reacted in this way and I could get this trade, this nice bounce off of here, take it this many points. I don't need the whole move. I just want a good chunk of it. And that compounds over time. I trade copy at least a couple of accounts. And so letting, some bites of some good moves, create copy, 4 out of 5 winning days a week equals payouts, equals a nice bounce for my bank account. But this situation is affecting that for me. I think I am trying to like play up for the crowd, which I can't do. It's like, it's the element of like, if you're on stage and you're speaking to a group, you're going to speak differently than you would just speak to your partner in your living room. That energy is different. If you know that there are eyes on you, you are just a little bit more amped. You're a little more animated. You're focused on aesthetics, both of the trade and like, on my on camera view and how's my lighting and like stupid stuff that like doesn't really matter in real life. I would never consider my office lighting when I'm just trading by myself, right? As long as I can see and it's not bothering my eyes, like I'm good to go. So it's just changing my whole world. And what I have to figure out to do, what I need you guys' help, please hit me a message and leave comments, is because I need to be able to trade my system that is really good, and if not getting better through this period, and not feed into the negative habits. Because on both of those days, well, one of the situations I made a bigger P&L, but I overtraded. And the other one, I gave back my wins and ended the day red. And so in those situations, like I need to instead, right? I'm going to talk it out with you guys because you're my friends, right? I need to back it off and just focus on the really good trades because that's far better content anyways. If you're watching my stream, sure, you want to be entertained, but I mean, the whole idea of watching futures day traders trade live in a trading room would be ideally to learn and to see if there's good opportunities, hear them from the host, and maybe capitalize together as a team. Well, in that role, like, of course, my priority has to be only on the best setups, not necessarily to always have a trade on to show what it would look like to manage a trade. If it's like a B setup, heaven forbid, less than that, what the heck am I doing engaging in it? You know what I mean? Like in that situation, if it's not an A+ setup, I need to be the example of not touching it instead of having the extra energy of like, well, they came to see some trades. And so this could work. The could work trades is what is my issue lately. And it's keeping me up at night. And I'm after a session where I'm like, well, if I wasn't on camera, would I have taken that? If I wasn't in my office, was that a setup that would have called me back to it? If I saw it on my phone or an alert went off, is that something that I would really want to put some leverage on? And there has definitely been some trades in the last couple of weeks where it's like, no, like those conditions did not favor my edge. And I was there and it was sort of like just bouncing around in a range. So I took a stab at something, but that is feeding the wrong side of me. That is not the side of me that has got me to the success that I have gotten as a trader. And so I've got to figure out how to back that off, to be able to be observed and not have to put kind of size on. I don't have to think, does this look good? Is this exciting? Is this engaging? What if people leave when I'm just talking and I don't have a trade on? Like I can't look at those numbers. Instead, I just want to talk about my process of trading, what I like to look at, what the markets are doing, what other people are seeing, what people are looking for, encourage them to ask me questions, because having a dialogue about things that other traders are kicking around in their mind creates a really good conversation, a really good flow. And that can be part of a trading hour where it's worth it for the traders to be there, whether or not a trade is on screen. So I need to focus on value and not just noise, but then also like really only showing my best trader self. And that's the example that I want to lead by anyway. And I think that's what's bothering me the most, is that I actually really do care. And if I'm not putting forth the parts of me that, like, what if my niece was, watching and trying to be a trader? What do I want her to see me effing around with like B and C setups? That's a hard no. And so I want to care about anyone who might be taking something from the sessions and altering the way they trade. I would hope that it would only be the best of what I have to offer. And what I have been finding is that I'm getting muddy with that. And that is where it like has to stop, because I gotta, consistently profitability and trading really good, being a good trader is different than like trying to like put on a good show. Like there's a slight variance there. And I have got to just like, I need to remember when I'm streaming how to making sure that I'm only doing my very best trader self, because that is the heart of all of it, right? Just a quick pause before we get into this. Trading can be intense, and staying mindful during your session matters so much. That's why I created and am sharing a free 3-part audio experience that's helped me deeply. 1 for starting your day with calm intention, 1 to stay centered while you trade, and 1 to wind down with grace when it's time to stop. These tracks are yours. Just click the link in the description. I think sometimes there's an energy out there like more trades, the more trades you make, the more P&L you can make. Well, that's not usually the case. If you lock into 1 or 2 really good trades when your opportunities are excellent, or even no trades, if nothing is speaking to you in the hour that I'm on camera, if none of those setups are good, I've got to be okay with not taking a setup, because that needs to be the example that I want to lead by. And I'm put in this role maybe for a reason. Maybe this is something that I'm meant to grow through and figure out how to be a really good example on. And so, challenge accepted. Like, I am available for that, because I know that through the process, it will make me better, and it will make me a better trader. It will hopefully inspire someone. It will help us all level up together. Anyone who's in that room with me, which is like the dream, right? That is the goal. And so like, I want to believe that constant action is not the driving force, but instead professional trading has got to be the primary everything that I bring to it. And I think what I have found, I've been watching some other traders that trade live, and I'm really enjoying like kind of case studying them almost. And the elite traders on the charts, when they're putting on executions, is boring, right? They're not throwing money at everything that moves. They are not. They're waiting for their specific liquidity zones and their specific pivots and signals, and they're only taking it with the risk that fits with their account size, and they're taking the trade and they're locking in profits. They're not trying to say, I'm going to hold this all day. No, if they don't see that it's a hold all day type of situation, or they don't need that for their accounts or whatever they're doing, they lock it down, and then they spend the next 45 minutes of said hour BSing. And I could BS. I have a freaking podcast, right? Like, I don't mind BSing and shooting the shit and like taking questions and dialoguing if I have another streamer on with me. Like that, honestly, that's probably what would be the best, because I'd say, I could be the example of, I really like this setup at this level, and this, like if I got it, I locked in these points, that would feel really good for me. So then you can sit and you can pass on other potential opportunities, preserve capital. It's a type of productive that isn't executing trades, but it's the productive work of being a trader, especially in the futures world, where you're saying, I only want to put my leverage on when I get these really good opportunities. And that's how I want to be, like I want to show like patience is a superpower in trading. And so if I can lean into showing that patience by example, that is me being a good leader just as much as like showing a good trade, because it's fostering good habits for all of us and it's pulling me back to my good habits. And so I need to just reframe it, like I found a lot of peace when I would leave my office when I didn't see a good setup, and then come back in, check periodically. I would check on my phone. Like I said, I love alerts because they call me back to the market saying the price is at a very interesting level that you previously identified. Maybe you want to check it out. But when you're live streaming, that's not the opportunity, because you're literally right there. And so it's so much easier for me, at least, to front run a trade and to layer in or dollar cost average, because I'm like, well, it's coming to my support zone. It's probably going to get there. I could start small size, but that's not really the move. Like, it's better to let it get there and then start showing the move and then give you confirmations, and then you can get in. Then you're closer to when the move gets to success anyways. You don't have to weather as much drawdown, because holy moly, that's another aspect, right? Like weathering drawdown when you're on camera and your trades are on freaking screen, like that's so uncomfortable, let me just say, because sometimes I'm like, I do that because I'm like, well, I think it's going to work. And I'm on camera. I'll start with low leverage and then get in position and it goes against me. Well, it's because it's going this other area that I should have waited for. But I do ideally want to long somewhere down here. So if I longed up here and it goes a little lower, then I'm sitting in red. And then people might be like, what's she doing? Are we long? Are we short? It's going against her, like it's so freaking awkward. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, I got in a little soon, but I got in for small smize so I can add to it. There's so much conversation around dollar cost averaging, but I'm more of like a contextual trader. And if I see an area that I want to get in, I'm pretty good at like not staring at the charts all the time and then watching for it get there and then see what it does when it gets there. But that's not the situation that I've been finding myself in. So I have got to figure out how to get back to that, like, really disciplined Becky and patience and not worrying about constantly having action, but instead just focusing more on like the conversation around it and saying why I'm being patient. Because I have found that one positive of streaming is I talk out my trades a lot. Like I obviously can talk, I will say, I would love to see it to fall down here and then I want to see it hold and stabilize and then start to turn. And so by saying these words out loud in a group of traders, then I am basically laying out my trade plan. And so then I'm saying it. So then why I need to honor it, right? I need to wait and see if it gets that level and then see what reaction it gives me there and how I can best capitalize on the opportunity. And so in that way, I've taken some sick trades online because I'm basically like laying out there out loud what my hypothesis is for the trade potential. And then I can really kind of make some good points and get some really good entries and say, I like this here at this level. This is why I want to get in. This is the size that I'm getting in on. And so I think that it's been growth opportunity. But what if you don't stream, if you don't think you ever stream, but if you are a trader, I think this is kind of similar to other things that people will find themselves in because what if you're a person who likes to post your trades in the community, right? And so then there would be eyes on that, especially if you post your charts with your fills on it, then you want to show a good show too. And so, or you put it on your Instagram or you want to show your trading community that you had another banger of a day. There's an energy behind that too. If you know that your trades at some point will be witnessed, it could potentially modify what you are doing with your day. And so then this is similar to what I'm going through as a streamer, just to a different exact level. And so you want to maybe have it look a certain kind of way instead of just not even caring and focusing on doing your process to the absolute best of your ability. And so it doesn't have to be an audience of 100 people. It can be a small group of 10 people that you really care about and you want to look a certain kind of way. But that has got to, for me, I'm saying it to you guys because I'm saying it to me because I want to get it in my head, that has the optics of a trade should not be the priority. It has to be being a good example of a professional trader. If I am in the role where people are observing me, I want to make sure that what I'm putting out there is the best foot forward. And so whether it is a team of live tradings or it's my mentor or it's my team, all of that plays over into like, it doesn't need to be a factor, right? But it is where I'm at in my life right now. And this is a call to action for all of you, because if anyone has experienced this with posting their trades or an active community or live streaming, even to a small group or a meeting group, whatever, dude, put some comments in there. Tell me what to do. Tell me what you did. Tell me your tips that have made you a better trader, because I really, 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 really want to always just capitalize on my best setups, pass on a ton of setups by being a good example of that patience and that professionalism as a trader, and just embrace the fact that sometimes it just is kind of conversations around trading. And that if that was the bulk of my stream, that doesn't make my stream less valuable. If anything, it makes it a really solid bit of trading TV that people should want to tune into, because it's the example that for me has got me paid by not swinging at everything that moves. I just don't think that is kind of what the opportunity is. And so I think that we can have great conversations while we're waiting for the trades. We can talk about the psychology of it, right? We could review previous trades. Sometimes that happens when I come on for power hour and I have traded during the day. I'll spend a little chunk of time talking about what trades I took earlier or what opportunities I liked earlier if I couldn't get in, how I might have managed it or how I did manage it, what that looks like, the whys behind it, and what the outcomes were, because I think there's a lot of lessons in that. It's essentially like how you would journal your trades after the fact, and like what lessons you took away from it, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you wish you would have done differently. And so that is something that I'm trying to do more of too, especially if it's, for example, the power hour sessions when I live stream, if I have trades that morning, because I almost always trade opening bell as well. And so that I think I want to kind of lean into, and so have it be part of like, it doesn't always have to be an action happening on camera, I think is the message that I need to sink into my subconscious of like prioritizing what has got me paid, which is a really patient, only swinging at my best setups, because all of that, everything that I do in the trading world, Market Mama, is that coaching, that live streaming, all of that stems from being a good, strong, stable trader. And if something is slipping me up, like this energy that I'm bringing to the live streaming where I feel like I need to show action, then I have to rein it in, because all of the rest of the things, the live streaming and the podcast and everything, that is based upon me being a steady trader. And so it's not going to be a flip. Like I can't just say, I'm only going to take A+ setups and teach patience always. I can't say that and have that always be the outcome, because I'm a human. And I also recognize it takes time to grow into new phases, right? I don't want to put too much pressure on myself to then feel imperfect if I slip up again, but rather I just want to try and be cognizant of the growth that I need to make and try to rise up into that. And I think that as humans, I'm a psychology nerd out for a second, I think that that gives us the best success when we recognize we don't have to do it all in one big bite and be perfect. Otherwise we're failing. No, I think that little failures and failing a little bit less and learning from each failure and doing a little bit less and doing a little bit better, asking for feedback, receiving feedback, thinking about it, processing it, writing out notes to myself, journaling about how I'm doing it well or how I continue to want to make improvements in that area. That's what I think I'm going to do to try and just shift and try to not do the behaviors that drive me crazy and keep me up at night. Oh, why did I take that trade? And how did I hold that drawdown? I need to just lock it in a little tighter. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, because trading is the heart of everything that I do. And so that has to remain top tier for the rest of it to kind of fit in. The version of me that built myself to this point, the consistent, calm, patient, smart trader, that's got to be the core of everything. And it has to be about me living my best trader life and not about impressing or looking any kind of way, because I think that that follows if I do my really good trading. That's a natural thing. Like I've mentioned before about how P&L is a lagging indicator of really locking into a strong system and managing my mind. Well, I think that this too will come of like being really good on camera will come from me locking into only executing my best trading, being my best trader self. And then the people that are the right people will stay. And the people who want to see people flipping contracts left, right, and center, maybe they'll move along and maybe that seems great for them. I don't know. But this episode, I guess, isn't really about the live streaming. It's more so about like new level, new devil, right? If there's something in your life that is a force that is causing you to not trade your best plan, but instead be influenced by outsider pressures or whatever, I know that I need to not let that get to me. And so I am going to put a lot of emphasis on that every day that I come to a streaming opportunity, of only engaging in the trades that I really desire at key levels for reasons that I understand and are part of my strategy and my literal written playbook. That's how I'm going to keep coming at it. This is partly of the background of why I'm trying to show you guys my best patient trader self. And I want that for all of us, is this nice, beautiful patient trader self, no matter if it's just you or if any eyes are on you ever. Because I don't want that influence in my trading and my decisions. I want to be my best trader. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to get paid for it because I'm a good trader. And we're going to have an excellent community at BluSky. Like I said, when I stream there, I am the newbie. So check it out because I do all right. And the other traders are like boss, Mike and Justin and Breezy, Matt, you guys, like it's a cool team. But also like for being here at Market Mamas, because this we're over 2 years as a podcast, and it has been focused on trader psychology and growth. And from an early trader to a messy middle trader to an early profitable trader has been my evolution through my time here at Market Mamas. And I am available for all the kind of the open, authentic conversations. And this evolution, even to this point where I'm having this conversation, has been kind of awesome. Like it's been a lot. There's been stressful periods, but it's also been really interesting. And I don't mind like saying what's real for me in this trading world. And if you appreciate it, please do like and share with a friend, because this podcast is still growing. Our Market Mamas community is still growing. Most of all with this episode, though, please leave me a comment about if you've experienced this, what you have worked through with this, what helps you, what should help me, and any resources if you want, like drop them in the chat, because I love sharing resources that make us all better. All right, maybe I'll have to do an update over time. Take care, everyone, and I wish us all the best trading success, whether we're streaming or whether we are in our pajamas by ourselves in our little room with messy bedhead. Bye.